Good evening, everyone. How are you? I am just going to do that for right now. I hope you're all doing fine, having a good night. Just need to plug that in. How's everyone doing? Better go back over here to comments. Hi, Monica. Hi, Linda. How you doing? That's good. Hope everyone's doing fine. Hi, Julie, visiting us from Winnipeg. Hi, Antonia. Hello. Hi, Jennifer. I hope everyone is doing well. Hi, Charlene. Hello. Oh, you're having a snowstorm, are you, Patricia? Where are you from again? I'm trying to remember. Can't remember where Patricia is from. You know, it's windy here, but it's nice. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Ruby. Hi, Debbie from Ontario. Oh, Bonnieville. Oh, you're having snow up there? Oh. Okay, perfect. So it's time for Monday Night Live. And if you saw my reminder that I put out, we are doing a gel press. I'm going to do kind of like a little bit of an intro to gel press. It's kind of one of my favorite things. So yeah. Hey, Debbie. Hi, Lynn. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I can still see your comments. So I am going to switch over to my other camera, my overhead camera, and we'll get started. I don't have any samples to start with. I was going to bring some from the store because I have a lot of gel press samples there, but I kind of forgot. So we're just going to kind of create on the fly, and I'll talk about the gel press, my experience with it. This is going to be just kind of me creating. I'm going to show you how I create some card backgrounds when I do my gel press. I'll talk about the different kinds and sizes and stuff like that. You have 2 gel presses that you've never used, Monica? Oh, honey, you need to get those out. Yeah, I love the gel press. Yeah. I haven't taught a gel press class in a while. I did one in the fall, but yeah, I haven't done one in a little while, but I love the gel press. It's so much fun. Okay, so let me switch to my overhead camera. There we go. So my first experience with the gel press was probably about 10 years ago, I guess, when I got my first one. This isn't my first one, but the first size I got was an 8x10, which is what this one is. So when I was teaching the gel press in the store, this is what all the students would use because we have a whole set, a class set of 8.5x11 gel press. So this is a very versatile size. This is the size I use when I want to make some easy card backgrounds. So is an 8x10. Let me just set that one aside. Now, this was one that I got probably, I guess, just after we opened the store. Is this Dilutions one? Now, let me go back. Gel Press, what you see here, Gel Press, that is the brand name. The name of the company is Gel Press. Now, this one is from Ranger. This was in a collaboration with Dina and Diane and Gel Press. Oh, I'm just going to open this one up. So this was the next one I got. Now, this one has 3 different gel presses in them. So this one, which is 6x12, 6x12. This one, which is actually, sorry, this one is 5.5x11. This one is 3.5 by 6 3/4. And then there's a circle one. This one is a 3-inch circle. This one is also really good for cards. I'm going to leave this one out because I'm going to use that one in a little bit. And then this one, which is my absolute fave, this is my 12x12 gel press. It is a monster. I love it because if I want to do, like in one of my larger art journals, I will use this one. If I want to do a scrapbook page size, I will use this one. If I want to do magazine transfers, I will use this one. So this one is kind of the mega. I use it. It's not even the biggest one. There's actually bigger gel presses than this, if you can believe that. This is the biggest one I have. I'm not going to be using this one tonight. I'm going to set that one aside. Now, if you're wondering what we carry in the store, we do carry the gel press brand. We also carry the Lavinia. Lavinia just came out with their own line of gel plates as well. Very similar, but they're different sizes. They've got a round one, a square one, a rectangle one. So they are a little bit different sizes. So depending on what you want to do will depend on the size of gel press you want. If you're just a card maker, not just a card maker, I don't mean that. If you just focus on card making, I wouldn't do anything bigger than an 8.5 by 11. Because there's no benefit of getting the 12 by 12 if you're a card maker. Now, if you're kind of like me and you like to do all of the things, a 12 by 12 is a good one, because just because it's 12 by 12 does not mean you have to use the entire gel press. When I use my 12 by 12, I'll put it on my mat. So if I just want to do like something that's 4 by 4, I can see through it and be like, oh, I'm just going to put my paint, in that size. So I do use my 12 by 12 for different sizes of things. Okay, so let's get started. What is a gel press? Well, it is, let me open this out. It is a gel plate, and what you use it for is to make gel prints. So when you take it out of the its little container there is a plastic on either side. So I'm going to put this down. Here we go. I'm going to stick it down there. I'm going to peel this side off. Now, mine is yellow. This one is one of the store ones, and the reasons why it's yellow is because we have used it for alcohol inks, which, yes, you can use alcohol inks on a gel press. I'm not going to get into that tonight. I'm just going to show you what it's like to use with acrylic paint, which is my favorite way to use it. But you can use sprays, you can use inks, you can use ink refills, alcohol inks, many different things you can use on here. I'm going to show you acrylic paint. So just remember, I can see your comments. So if you do have any questions, or if you need me to repeat anything, just put it in the comments and I can get back to you. So again, the one I'm using, this is the 8 by 10 gel press. It is quite thick, but it is, you can tell that is a gel. It's got some squishiness to it. I'm going to lay it down on there. Perfect. Make sure it's not stretched out. Now I'm also going to use, I just grabbed out some stamps. So I'll have those here beside me. I have some stencils. I have those here. I have different kinds of papers. Most of them are heavyweight mixed media paper. Some are 80-pound paper. White. I've got some crafts, so I've just got these setting beside me. Okay, and one other thing I grabbed is some bubble wrap. I'm just going to show you how to add some texture to your plate before you do any pulls on it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some acrylic paint. Let me just give me a second. I didn't think to grab out some colors ahead of time, so just bear with me. Okay. Okay, Okay, so I just grabbed 3 colors. I'm using Paper Artsy paint. Any acrylic paint will work. Some people have their favorites. I've also used Dina Wakley heavy body. I've used Diane Reevely acrylic paints, the Dilutions paints, and they all work. Some work better than others, and then some people have like their favorites, right? So we're not all the same. Some people have their favorite kinds of paints. I just prefer Paper Artsy. Okay, so I'm just going to do a really quick and easy paint or pull. Okay, so what I always tell people in my gel press class is less is more. Because to get a good pull, you just need a really thin coat of paint. So just going to, there we are. I'm actually just going to lower this a little bit so you have a better look at what I'm doing. So that's a little much, but I usually do about a pea size. Okay, there we go. You're also going to need a brayer. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and forth. One other thing I should mention is I like keeping a piece of scrap paper beside me. That way I can take my brayer and brayer that off. And now I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go into that 3rd color. Okay. Brayer that off. And now I'm just going to take a piece of paper. I'm going to lay it down on my gel press. I'm just going to press that paper on. And I'm going to pull that up. Okay, so there's a really, really quick and easy gel print. Oops, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to come back to that one in a little bit. I'm not going to clean this up. We're actually going to leave that paint on there. It just adds, hi Arlene, how are you? And even look at this. This is where I brayered off my paint. That's pretty too. I'm going to leave that off to the side. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of backgrounds and then I'm going to show you some layering techniques. So let me leave those 3 paints to the side. Okay, now I'm going to use these 3 colors. 1, 2, 3. Now there are various techniques that you can use your gel press. You can do magazine transfers. Those are a lot of fun. That's kind of more of an advanced technique. But if you go on to YouTube, Gel Press has some amazing YouTube videos. They are fantastic. Okay. There we go. And let me do another one here. Oops, I tore that out of a book and I didn't realize it was a page that had my, I was practicing drawing eyes. That actually, that was a mistake. I thought it was a plain piece of paper, but that actually looks kind of cool. I'm going to set that one aside. That I did not mean to do that. Again, I'm not going to clean this up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some different ways. I'm going to go with my original 3 colors. So those first 2 I did, those would be easy backgrounds. Really easy, fast backgrounds. And I do easy, fast backgrounds like that for cards. And then I will do some stamping or some stenciling over top of it. Okay, so let me do this again. Good, good, good. Now, what can I do now? Say I don't want just a plain background. What else can I do? I'm just braring off the paint. So now I'm going to take oh, look, this is a brand new stamp. I've never even used this one. So I'm going to take a stamp. I'm going to grab a piece of paper here. I'm just going to move this over. Okay, so what I'm going to do with my stamp is I'm actually going to lay it into that paint. Let's do that again. So you can actually stamp on your gel press, remove paint. Look at that's pretty too. You can stamp that paint off. Look at that. Even the stamping off is pretty. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, this is different sizes of paper. So I'm just going to lay that one on. I'm not sure if this is going to turn out because it feels like there's too much paint on my gel plate. Oh, but it did. Look at that. This is the reason why I leave the paint on the gel plate, because look at all of the interest that I've got on there with all the layers of paint that are coming up. That is pretty. Okay, that's going to be set aside. What I tell with people who take my gel plate class is it's really about playing. Just get it out and start playing. Oh, that's pretty too. Oh, I love this. That is fabulous. Okay, I'm just going to set these aside because they will need a little bit time to dry before I do other techniques on top of them. So that was using a stamp. Really, really fast and easy. Again, I'm going to leave this on here because this is just going to keep adding to the layers that I'm going to get with each and every pull. So I never clean in between. Now I am going to use what will clean this up really well is our new scrubby soap. I don't have it here. It's down in my kitchen. So I have to go, I'll take this down and clean this in my kitchen sink when I'm done for the evening. So I'm just going to set that aside. Okay. Now, this paint is dry because we live in Calgary where it's very, we have a drier climate. So when the paint that you put on is very thin coats, it will dry fast. Now, when you have a dry layer on your gel plate, don't freak out. If you do want to clean it, baby wipe is a really easy way to clean it. Hi, Kim. How are you? Okay. So when this is dry, what I like to do is put on one thin coat of paint and do one pull and pull up all of this chunky paint. So let me do that. I'm just going to put on, this is a light yellow. It's called Butter. I'm going to take my brayer. I'm going to brayer this back and forth over the entire gel plate. Now, it's hard to explain this, but you just need a very thin coat of paint. And it took me a long time to realize what that meant. This is why I say you really need to get your gel plate out and play with it, because it's only then where you will realize when you see it what I mean by thin coat. Okay, so I've got a thin coat of the pink. I can see my stamping underneath. What I want to do is I'm going to grab this. This is, I don't know, this feels like a 80-pound weight white paper, smooth white. Let me press that on. I am using my pressure tool. This is my RVR's pressure tool. I just like it because I know I'm getting all of that paper pressed into that paint. Now this is where I say a prayer. Oh, look at that. You can already tell. Look, there's nothing on the gel plate, so it is pulling everything up. Oh, this is going to be a gooder. There we go. Look at what we've got here. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I love it. All of those colors showing through. That's all 6 colors of paint that are showing through in different areas, different strengths. Some of them have mixed, so I've got like a really cool purple in there, but that is amazing. And look at my gel plate. It's almost clean. What paper am I using? I just grabbed a whole bunch that I had here. This one is, I don't know if it's the 80 or the 100-pound smooth that we've got at the store. I believe it feels like it's the 100-pound, but it's the smooth. The first couple that I use, actually everything that I've used so far has either been 65 or 80 pound. Now you don't just have to do, use like good paper on this. I have used, and I don't think I've got any right here. I have used old dictionary paper. I have an old dictionary, and I will also do it on dictionary paper, collage paper. You can do some amazing things with collage paper. Really anything. You can gel press on anything. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Let me go back. This was the first one I did. I'm going to add another layer onto this. Okay, so let me set that aside. I'm going to get it ready. Let me grab a different color of paint. Actually, no, I'm going to use this, the smoked paprika. Okay, so I'm going to put smoked paprika on. I am going to grab a stencil. So this one is letters. So if I wanted to layer on my stencil, on my gel plate the right way, I actually need to put it down upside down. Okay, so let me just spread this paint on. That is a very thin coat, and that is fine. I'm going to lay this down. Now, because it's a stencil, I'm not going to use this because I actually need the paper to get into the grooves, those spaces in my stencil. So I'm actually going to use my hand to make sure that that paper is going into the stencil. There we go. Isn't that cool? That's amazing. Oh, I love it. Okay, now I'm going to take this off. Now, the paint that was on there before I put the stencil is still on. You probably can't see it because it's fairly light, but I'm going to let this dry, and it's not going to take very long. I just need to let it dry because I'm going to do another layer. And we'll do it on top of this, my eyeball practice page, which I accidentally did. No, happy accidents. That's actually going to be kind of fun. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we just need to let this dry. When I tell people, especially when I'm teaching and I take my heat tool to my gel plate, I always Monica's asking if sprays will pull up multiple layers as well. Not in my experience. You need something a little bit thicker. And paint is really what you're looking for. Sorry, I missed your question there, Antonia. Are you this one here? This is a Tracy Scott. This is one of her first ones. And I believe we still have this one in stock. It's one of my favorites. So this one is ETS 05. And it really is gorgeous. I absolutely love this one. Okay, when I'm waiting for paint to dry, it really is, I really have no patience. So if you want to use a heat tool to dry your paint, be very, very careful. Be very careful because you can damage your gel plate. I've been doing this for a long time, so I kind of know how long I can go. So it really is, you just have to be really careful. Okay, so that paint is dry. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a red. There we go. I'm going to brayer this on. And actually, I'm not going to use this one with the eyeballs on it yet because the colors are too similar. Brayering that on. Let me brayer my paint off. I'm going to take my bubble wrap. I'm going to lay that in there. Going to do that. Perfect. See, I put my bubble wrap on a piece of paper. Look at that. I got a really cool print. That's cool too. Okay, now I need to let this layer dry. While we're doing that, I'm actually just going to set that aside. And I'm just going to show you this little round one and what I like to do with it. So if I have a card, so this is an A2 size. I just folded it in half. So this would be like a card front. So what I'm going to do, if I wanted to just do a nice focal point on the front of a card, let me just take a little bit of blue paint. Now it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. Trust me, you don't need a lot of paint. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, now I could lay it on top, but I really want to control where this is going. So I'm actually going to put it on my card, kind of in the top half, top third. I'm going to press that on. Just need to wipe the paint off my finger so I don't get it on my card. And now I've got this focal point, which that is really cool. I like that. Now, say I wanted to do just a little bit of red. Again, doesn't have to be a lot of paint. I always say less is more. Let's take our bubble wrap. Press that into there. And now I'm going to take this again and I'm going to layer it over top of what I just did. And there, now I've got this wonderful little center point for my card. Really quick, really easy. So what I would probably do, and this is how I like to do my cards, is I would take a micron pen, I would draw a circle on that, I would add my sentiment, and I would call it done. Maybe add a flower or two, but how quick is that to make a card? That is so quick. Yeah, the round ones are really cool. The Lavinia one, I want to say it's, I don't know if it's 6 inches wide. But it's actually really cool too. But yeah, these ones make really great cards and really quick. Like so quick. Look how fast that was. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm just going to check and see. Is this dry yet? It's almost dry. Let me move this back into frame here. So if you remember, I did orange on the bottom, did one stencil, and then I put the red over top and did bubble wrap to do a bubble wrap in it. Now I know you can't really see what I'm seeing. And what I need to do is let this dry because I'm going to apply a lighter color of paint, probably butter again. So you have to remember that the paint that's touching the gel plate right now will be what you see. Okay, we are dry. See what I mean by not taking very long? Okay, so I'm going to take this one. Now this is going to be my last layer. And as soon as I have this on, I need to place my paper on. Don't think I need. Now, if you're working and you're like, I have way too much paint on here, it's way too thick. All you need to do is get a scrap piece of paper, roll off your brayer, and then come back, and then you will pick up paint. And do that until you've got a nice thin layer. Okay, now I need to I'm going to put 2 on because I don't want that yellow to dry on me. Okay, so because that orange, that first one I put down, I mean, I can see it from where I am, but because it was such a light color, the red kind of, you don't see it a whole lot, but I will show you what I would do in that case. And then here's another one. Now, see this? Where that didn't pull off in this area, that means my paint was still wet there. My red and my orange on that first layer, that means it was still wet. And that's why the that's why the yellow didn't pull it up. Okay. But again, quick and easy. Now, say I really wanted, I'm going to set this aside for right now. Say I really wanted that stenciling on there with the letters. Here we go. I'm going to pull it back up here. So I really wanted it on there. It didn't show up very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that stencil back in. Too many gel plates around here. Let me just set that aside. I'm going to bring that gel plate. And this is a really good one to do because of that white spot. I wouldn't say this is ruined. This is not ruined at all. This is still going to make an amazing background. I'm going to pick a different color. Just give me a second. Everything I'm pulling up is translucent. Okay, perfect. Going to grab some cut and dry foam. Now, you know, I've always told you about my love of cut and dry foam. I have to share some sad news. I went to reorder the cut and dry foam, which I've been ordering for years. Ranger has discontinued this. Yeah. The day I found out, I had a couple of customers in the store and I was moaning about cut and dry foam no longer being available. And the two of them bought everything we had left. So I'm so sad. I am looking for a replacement for cut and dry foam now. But if you have some, make sure you wash it and keep it as long as you can, because I can no longer get cut and dry foam from Ranger. I am very sad. Okay, so I'm just going to take this. I'm going to just apply the blue paint through my stencil. I tend to do this with my gel plate prints, is I'll go over them with stencils, and then I'll cut them down to A2 size, and then I have a storage box that I keep card backgrounds ready. Oh yes, Kim, it was you. You were there, Kim, when you found out about the cut and dry foam. I forgot about that. So when I run out of cut and dry foam, Kim, I'm going to call you up and beg you to give me some cut and dry foam. Okay. I will use my gel plate. Now, I always tell people, don't just get your gel plate out and make like one background. I will usually get it out and I will play for like an hour or two. I'll just like do fun things, make a whole bunch of backgrounds, and then I'll sit down with my stencils and I'll stencil on top of them. And then I usually look around and it's like, oh my gosh, look at all this cool stuff I made. And I've actually taken some of my gel plate backgrounds and I've bound them into books. I'll use them for keeping quotes in or just little journals. Okay. There you, oh, I love that. That's very cool. Just going to set that one to the side. So yeah, it's just, I just love gel plate. I do. It's just so much fun. Just going to grab this one. So when I'm teaching a gel plate class, I tell people it's like, just play, because you never know what you're going to get. And like I said, you can use sprays, you can use inks, any of those things work. My favorite is the paint. That's my favorite. But Cassandra, who teaches, she loves using alcohol ink on them, and they turn out amazing. Oh, whoa, that was too much paint. Okay. Oh, you will gladly. Thank you, Kim. Because when I run out of cut and dry foam, it is going to be a sad day. It is going to be a very sad day because I've been using it for years. And when I found out that Ranger discontinued it, their solution to me was to use the stamping foam from Simon Hurley. And I said, no, that will not do. That will not do what I use the cut and dry foam for. So I told them they were completely out of their minds. So what I'm hoping is, because they've discontinued it, that maybe Tim Holtz is coming up with something. I'm hoping. Okay, so there's 2 gel plate backgrounds layered with stencils. I would totally cut these down. Those would be saved as cards. Yeah, I just love saving these for card backgrounds. Sometimes if I need a quick tag, I will cut a tag out of it, add a sentiment, stamp, if it's happy birthday, stamp something on it, and then throw it on a gift, and away you go. I do that at Christmas all the time. I will have gel plate, and then I will look through all of my gel plate prints and I will be like, oh yeah, that's Christmas colors, or that will go with that wrapping paper. Cut a tag out of it, and there you go. Yeah, I just love playing with my gel plate. I probably don't play with it enough, actually. Okay, let's go back to these. So usually when, I mean, I don't need any cards right now because I've got so many gel prints. I don't really need any more cards, but what I'm going to do is I would show you what I do with this. So this is an 8.5 by 11. I'm going to, got some extra paint on that. I would cut this down. Yeah, transferring a photograph, I have not had great success, but it's probably because I haven't had the right kind of photo, but I have done the magazine transfers, and those will turn out so. It depends on the magazine that you're using. Usually it has to be a higher end magazine like a Vogue or something like that, where it's on that high quality paper and they use the dense inks on it. But that's another fun technique. So this would make a really great card background. Really great card background. Now I could cut it into my 4A2 size, but I think I might add on a bit of stamping, maybe a bit of stenciling. So if I have this, let me just grab, I'm just going to grab some inks, nothing too crazy. Let's stay in our color families that we got here. So I'm just going to grab a green, a red, and an orange. And I'm just going to add some stenciling, mostly around the edges where I've got those whites. So if I pull this up, just add in some inking. Again, I'm not going to do anything too crazy, nothing too wild, because when I do a card, I need to add a sentiment. So I need it to be kind of, not too crazy. That's great. Love that. Let's come over here with the red. Now I am using distress inks, not the oxides. The inks are a bit more translucent, so they're going to leave me with the details on the background and not cover them up. Perfect, good, love that. And let me do one more. Now I know for some of you, this is not the way you make cards. You make cards from beginning to end. I tend to make my backgrounds, and then when I need a card, I go in search of a background that I have. And sorry, I'm just going to turn that because I should have wiped my stencil off. I make backgrounds, and then when I need a card, I thumb through all my backgrounds, and then I find one that's going to work for the person that I'm giving it to, or the occasion. Great, love that. So then when I'm done a background like this, I could add some stamping on it, but I'm actually going to wait until I know I have an occasion. But let me just do this. And then I'm going to do this. And then one more. Oops, didn't cut that one all the way through. There we go. So there's my backgrounds for my cards. Now these are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I would probably cut these down to be slightly smaller than that, like a 1/4 inch smaller. But I would put these away, and then when I need a card, I would flip through and be like, okay, now what do I need to do? Like maybe I need to add in a little bit of stamping to this card. So I'm just using, this is a Paper Artsy one. Actually, this is a Seth After one. So I would come in here and just add in maybe a bit of stamping. Normally I would do this with my stamping platform for a finished card, but my stamping platform is not handy. I would add in a bit of stamping. I would add a sentiment, and then I would call it a day. I actually don't like that. I think I ruined that, but I'll add in some stenciling and pick that up. So I just find it is a really easy way to create backgrounds. So if you have a gel plate and you have a brayer and you have paints, grab them out, grab out some stencils, grab out some of your stamps, press them in, and then just start playing. That is the best thing about the gel plate, is playing. Get them out, play. And I'm just going to show you this, because remember this? This is just a piece of copy paper that I grabbed off the printer. This is where I did my stamping. I would save this. I would probably use this. What paper? It was a blend of the. I just kind of had a stack of paper. It was some of the Vicky Bouton Foundations paper, and I also used the 80 and 100 pound smooth 8.5 by 11 that we sell. I just kind of had just some bits and pieces hanging around here, so I just grabbed those. So remember, this was stamping off. Love this. I would totally keep this. And then, here, this one. Oh no, I ruined this one because I normally wouldn't do that. But if you're brayering off, save those, because these work really well as well. I would add stamping on that. Now, one thing that we also did, coming back. Last fall, I believe, Nancy did a journal binding class, and I had a stack of gel press papers, and she took all of them and she actually bound them into this journal for me. So yeah, you can see some of these are not gel press. These are other things that I did, but she just took them and she bound them into a journal for me. So because I just had so many at the store, she's like, can I take those and make them into my bookbinding class? So this one with the little shiny bits, that's actually alcohol ink with acrylic paint. Yeah, so alcohol ink and acrylic paint together on that one. Like I said, you don't just have to use acrylic paints. You can use your inks and acrylic paints. You can use alcohol inks and acrylic paints. You can use sprays and paints. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with your gel prints, sorry. So yeah, I mean, this was a magazine transfer. This face on the front, that was a magazine transfer. So it really is fun. So if you have a gel plate, just get it out and just start playing. You can't really ruin your plate unless you take heat to it. If you take heat to it, you have to be really, really careful. Yes, you can use the metallic alcohol inks. Yeah. Here, I'm just going to come back. There we go. Just going to come back here. Just wanted to let you know, like if you have, like I said, if you have a gel plate, get it out and play. That really is the best way to learn techniques. And then go on YouTube, because there are so many techniques, and you don't have to have a lot of fancy tools. If you have a gel plate and a brayer and then whatever your paints, find some bubble wrap. But you can also, and the people who took I think I have it here actually. This class that we did, this was my Jofi retailer class that I did. That background, the texture that we added was a piece of copy paper scrunched up. That's all it was. We put paper on our gel plate, and then Yes. You look around your house and see what you can do. I've actually used the lid of a paint bottle and pressed it in to make circles. You can use the end of a paintbrush and then you can do X's, you can do lines, squiggly lines, you can draw on it. I mean, there's just so many things. It really is unlimited. Just find things that you can mark in your paint. Like I said, I use the end of a paintbrush all the time. I'll just go over and do a whole bunch of X's. Yeah, lids from medicine bottles. Yeah, Kim says a fork, bottle caps, pretty much anything. You don't even have to have a stencil. Other things that I've used, you probably all have dies, right? Go through and cut out all your flowers. Lay your flowers into that wet paint, put your paper over top and lift it off. And then you're going to have this print where it has the open spaces where your flowers were. And then you peel the flowers off of your die cuts, and now those are beautifully colored. I mean, it's really unbelievable what you can do. So Glenda, you should totally go to your craft room and create, but it's probably pretty late for you, right? Well, maybe not. What, 9-ish, 9:30-ish? But yeah, if you have die cuts, go through and be like, oh, what do I have? Go through and cut out a dozen die cuts. Put paint on your gel plate, put all your die cuts on. Oh, it's 10 p.m. Oh, it's pretty late. But yeah, you don't have to have stencils. You can use your die cuts. So if you have those, use them. Another thing that I did, this was quite a few years ago, and I know you're all paper hoarders like I am. I went through my paper quite a few years ago and decided I did not know why I bought all this ugly paper that I was never going to use. I used them and made gel prints on top of the printed paper, which just again gives you another layer that's already there. You're using printed paper. You spent your money on it. You might as well use it. Do a gel print on top of it. And then what I did is I bound all those together into a journal. Right? I mean, it's just amazing what you can do with it. It really is unlimited. And once you get on Pinterest and YouTube and start searching gel printing or gel plate or gel press, your mind is going to blow because it just really is unlimited. You only have a couple pages of ugly paper, Monica? I mean, I wish I had them with me. My craft room is kind of split into two different parts of my house, but I really did. I went through all of my paper, and I probably had a stack of paper like this, and I spent a whole day, and that's all I did. By the time I finished, I turned around and I looked at the floor because I would just do prints and I throw them on the floor to dry. And it was amazing, the amount. And I fell back in love with that ugly paper that I had now done all these beautiful gel prints on. So yeah, just to say, don't throw out the ugly paper. Make something beautiful with it with your gel plate. And then you can turn those into cards. You can turn them into collage fodder for your art journal. Yeah, I mean, it's really unlimited. And if you're like me and you don't scrapbook as much as you used to, but you have all the scrapbook paper, I use both. Yeah, Tash is asking me if I used opaque or translucent, and they were a combination of all of those. Yeah, combination. So if you look at this one, the red was more opaque than the orange at the bottom. Actually, maybe it's a good idea that I used it on a piece of paper that I had eyeballs drawn on. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, something like this where I love this. I love the colors and I love the orange on top of it. It's giving me kind of beachy vibes. I'm totally going to cut this down and I'm probably going to use this in my art journal. I just am because I love it. Do I ever sleep? I do. About every 3 days when I can't stay up any longer. I get about 8 hours sleep about every 3 days when my mind is too tired to think of crafty things. Okay, well, that's it for me. Thanks for spending the last hour with me. If you're wanting to find this video, the easiest way to find it is on our YouTube channel. So you can go over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to me there. This streams live on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook page. But if you want to watch it back to get more ideas, you can find it easier on our YouTube channel. And that is the Paper and Ink Boutique on YouTube. So have a great evening, everyone. I hope you had fun. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week for Monday Night Live.